The other NBA thing I wanted to get into is the Portland Trailblazers, Dave. They had a game last night. They played our Chicago Bulls, where they lost 111-108. The question I want to ask you, because the Blazers as a whole, and really some of their players as a whole, have not had the best start to the season. I will ask you, is it overreaction to say this? Is it not? Did we overhype the Blazers in the offseason by basically crowning them towards like, oh, they're going to be this high in the West. They're going to be the ones in the playoffs to possibly take down LeBron and the defending champs?
Nah, we would never do that. Never.
No track record of that.
No. When Ricky and Dave agreed, what happens? No.
Near perfect every time. Just check the receipts.
Yeah, check the receipts. I dare you. No, I mean, Nurkic has not been playing well. Mm-hmm. That's number one. Zach Collins got hurt, number two. And if I'm going to be honest, playing Carmelo Anthony and Enes Kanter at the same time is damn near impossible to keep up with the scoring from the other team.
Yeah.
You can't do it. Mm-hmm. Those two men can't share a court together.
I mean, you're right. I even put a name out there that you didn't say is Damian Lillard has been not like Damian's been good, but he hasn't been like, this is the question with me and the Blazers is if they're going to be the team we thought they were going to be, can they do that with Dame being a 25, 26 point per night guy, averaging a little bit less than he has in the last few years, but still in the ballpark. He's about 41, almost 42%. Does he need to be a guy that is shooting near 50%? Last year he was at 46 to end the season. He was also at 40% from three. Right now he's down 5% from last year, and he's nearly down almost 4 to 5 points per game, which might not seem like a lot, but like when you're averaging 30 points a night.
7 fucking games, and if you take away their first game in which he got massacred by Utah, shot terribly. If you take off that first game, he's putting up 29 a night on 43, 37, 92 splits.
Good point.
So he's basically right on par with where he's been every other year.
Okay. Good point. Looking in the Utah game was absolutely terrible for him. It's just like, I don't know, like I hate basketball. I hate talking basketball so early in the season because it's like, obviously there's games to talk about, but it's really like that sense of like where you're sitting there and you're going, I want to be overreactionary.
So do it.
But my mind tells me it's only been 7 games.
I agree with you. I love watching. I'm a massive consumer of other people's content on basketball.
Yeah.
I love to watch other small YouTube channels. I'll watch big ESPNs, FS1s, whoever it is. I absorb all the basketball info I can get, except KOC. Fuck that motherfucker. Rent free, baby. Rent free. But what I was getting to was the fact that it does seem everything early season is just massive overreactions. You can make the numbers look as gaudy as you want or as terrible as you want in such small sample sizes. So, like, I think the only thing you can tell right now is, yes, this team is struggling. They're I think the worst or second to worst defense in the NBA. The big issue in my mind, again, leans back to Nurkic, who was not able to get fully healthy coming into the season, does not seem to be in great.
Go ahead, Dave. You're back.
It's very much the concern with Nurkic not maybe being in the best of shape coming into the season. And there's a similar question. I knew Luka didn't have the opportunity to work out because of where he was at when the pandemic hit and all that stuff. So, like, I don't know what Nurkic's situation was like if he wasn't able to get in the gym, get properly set up to start the season, because technically this is kind of like preseason rep time still for them at 7 games of the season. So when you have 2 guards who are a net negative on defense, you can do your best to kind of guide opposing players into your rim protector and Yusuf Nurkic. That's how they got by last year. They added in 2 good wing defenders in Boko and Derek Jones Jr. And I think both those guys, the defense is still there. The shooting hit or miss night in, night out. I know in chat, Eric saying Covington not been great.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. His offensive game seems to be up in the air again. I think he found a really good role for himself in Houston, and now this is another change for him. So we're gonna have to wait and see to figure out if Terry Stotts can figure out how to use him correctly. Which I'm excited to see Terry Stotts actually coach, because so far, from what I saw last night, their game plan is ISO, ISO, and we're gonna change things up here and say ISO.
Well, and that's what I was going to bring up, Terry Stotts. But before I do, you brought up a great point that I want to reiterate. Is this season is just like last season. This season is unlike any start to a season we have had, to where basically, like, we hit this in, I think it was the Magic segment, of basically all the teams, and I joked with Soapy that in my fantasy team, I should have just drafted all the fucking guys who weren't in the bubble. Because they're the freshest. They're the freshest legs. They haven't played since the league shut down in March. They've been working out in the gym and stuff, but like they weren't in the bubble. They haven't played games since almost a year ago, where basically Portland was playing what the beginning of the playoffs were about 2 months ago. Yeah, like these guys haven't seen an actual offseason where you get to not just mentally just like kind of disconnect.
Recover.
Yeah, like you go through a season, especially the bubble too. Like Dame was given it each and every night, to where it's like you don't have an actual offseason to recoup and kind of relax. It's kind of like straight back into it, to where in even the Bulls game, Stacey's even brought up where all these games are kind of like preseason games, like you said, because guys are still getting back into it, going through the weird offseason that they had. But I brought up Terry Stotts before you did. Like I had him on my screen here because Jake last night we were watching the Bulls Blazers game. I want to say it was Jake, so Jake, correct me if I'm wrong, was mentioning numerous times, I feel like as a joke but serious, of the wow, I can't wait for this man to lose his job this year.
We're doing that.
And like that's the thing. I think if this team struggles enough this year, does the blame get thrown on Terry Stotts? And it was not Jake, it was somebody else. But like this is basically it, of like if he can't make it work, like with Jake says, if his system can't make it work to where Nurkic has to step up, or like it's all ISO, do the Blazers look at this thing, go, hey, we made the moves to get better guys to have a better roster for you. If we're not making the playoffs, if we're making the play-in tournament and getting bounced, or hell, if they even make the playoffs and get bounced in the first round again, is ownership going to go, hey, we got the players, we need a better guy at the helm to get this team over the hump?
I wouldn't blame the fans for asking for change to happen in that coaching position, because Damian Lillard has been excellent for years. He's been a top 5 point guard, a top 3 point guard for I don't know how many years now. I mean, he is just constantly in the shadow of Steph Curry, but I don't know if there's another guy out there who has the ability to knock down big shots and carry the offensive load quite like he can out there. So the need is there for them to win some games. Dame is there for life. He's Portland, he's all in, he's all about it. CJ's the guy who he's his best friend, but at the same time, he's also been the one who's been shopped.
Yeah.
And we don't know what validity, how much effort was there. We did hear from Dame, though. I don't know if you had read this.
No,
he was looking for someone from Golden State to come on over. He was looking for a deal. Let's get a certain nut-kicking scumbag.
I was going to say, was it Draymond? I want Draymond
on that roster. He's looking for a little toughness, a little defense. So it was very interesting. But yeah, no, I totally get it. And I think Stotts has been interesting. I don't think he's been a bad head coach, but I do wonder if he's plateaued.
Him and Dame have been linked because Dame was drafted in 2012. Stotts' first year after being fired. So he was fired in Milwaukee 2007, did not coach until being hired by the Blazers before the 2012-2013 season. So Stotts and Lillard have been in Portland Lillard's entire career, which has gone, they missed the playoffs his rookie year. ever since then, it's been 4 first-round exits, 2 semifinal exits, and then the infamous 2019 playoffs where they went to the conference finals. They just lost to the Warriors. Yeah. They got spanked.
Yeah. So I mean, I do wonder, is he the oh god. What was the name of the coach to the Raptors?
Oh, is he the Dwayne Casey?
Yeah, is he the Dwayne Casey of the West? Is he good enough to get you against the best teams in the West, but he can't quite put it all together to beat them?
Is Dwayne Casey the original Mark Jackson, though, Dave? That's the real question. Is Mark Jackson the original? We have to go to, as Dave froze again, so my Discord is being stupid. Dave, the question I asked was, is he the original Mark Jackson even? Because Mark Jackson was also the same. Develop the players, can't get them over there.
Mark Jackson wasn't half the man. The man. Mark Jackson couldn't get his team to the playoffs multiple times. That's not... Stotts can get his team to the playoffs. Stotts can win some games, but in a series... I mean, obviously the health of his best players has deteriorated. He's been unlucky if one thing, but at the same time, you have to wonder about the adjustments. And if the fans are anything to go by, I think this is kind of the final year. It's like, dude, we gave you wing defenders. Yeah. Make it fucking happen or else.
And Jake even says in Twitch chat, get Kenny Atkinson over there. And I'm saying his name.
Where is Kenny Atkinson right now?
I don't think he's anywhere. I don't think he's signed anywhere. I think he's
I'm sure he's an assistant or just doing a specialist role where he's like kind of floating around.
I'm Googling him. Okay. Oh, he's an assistant with the Clippers.
Okay, yeah. Good move.
Yeah. He is an assistant coach right now with the Clippers. Like, he's someone that I get. Like, that's the thing. Like, the coach that needs to come in needs to be able to work with what you got. And I'm not saying that Kenny Atkinson would not be that guy, but I mean, that's something to where he would probably be top of the list because of who's out there, but who knows? Maybe the Blazers go with someone else.
You might want somebody who works with stars better. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Or
it's the whole reason why Kenny Atkinson got fucking pushed out of town in the first place.
Maybe they go, dude, Scotty Brooks is going to get fired. He's used to dealing with 2 stars. Let's go ahead and bring in Scotty Brooks. I would never wish that on the city of Portland, by the way.
Thank you.
Would never.